Hey guys, it's me, Jim Kincaid. I got the Casio ProTrek PRW 3500, a watch that I have enjoyed very much on hikes and being outdoors. It's a great watch. Well, the module's great. It's a ABC sensor watch, so it has an altimeter, a barometer, and a compass. And Casio makes a bunch of watches that have altimeters, barometers, and compasses. They're called ABC watches. And these watches that they make under the G-Shock line and here under the ProTrek line. And I think that the way that this displays the data is better than how it appears on the G-Shocks, okay? Because now this one's not a ABC sensor watch, but you see how it's very difficult to read? This is typical of a lot of the G-Shocks, okay? So on this watch, there's these protective bumpers, the plastic bumpers, so the LCD display is way down deep inside. Difficult to read, and on top of that, this particular one is a negative display, okay? Really annoying. So this has the same type of construction as the Casio Rangeman, it's pretty thick, but it has extra bumpers, and the LCD is, you know, deep down inside. That's the way it is on the Rangeman, right? Now, this watch has a beautiful display, LCD, okay, big numerals, and it has graphs, and I'll show you some of the other features. It displays the ABC information. It displays all the information really well. It's beautifully designed, okay? And this particular model has the advantage that it's pretty much a G-Shock. It may not have the same shock resistant durability, but it has the same water resistance level, okay? If you look on the back, you see that it's rated to 20 bars, which is equivalent to like 600 feet water resistance, or 200 M's, which is the same as every G-Shock. Every G-Shock's rated to 20 bars, okay? And so other ProTreks are not. Other ProTreks are rated to 100 M's, which is 10 bars, right? Which is, 300 feet about. Why they just don't use yards, I don't know, but that's the stupid thing about the metric system. Anyways, this is a model of ProTrek that is practically a G-Shock. And it's interesting, it's like, sometimes you have umbrella companies that have two different brands. For example, like GM has Cadillac and GMC, but sometimes you can get a GMC with a trim package that puts it on par with the Cadillac, right? Same thing as, I think it's Toyota and Lexus. I don't know about that one, but I do know that there's a parent company that owns Ryobi and Milwaukee Tools. And there's one Ryobi high power impact wrench that's actually as strong as Milwaukee's, which Milwaukee fanboys don't want to hear. But anyways, this ProTrek, I think, is about as tough as a standard G-Shock watch. Maybe not as much as the Mud Resist Rangeman or this King, but definitely as tough as the $50 ones that you're gonna G-Shocks that you're gonna get at Walmart. So anyways, it's advantage to this watch. Oh, hold on, my dog's barking. Leona, it's okay. It's okay, girl. Someone's throwing something in the dumpster, so Leona has to bark at him. All right, anyways, so the Casio G-Shock ABC sensors, some watches you have to dive through menus to get to them, right? So looking at this brand new offering by Casio, which is the GBDH 2000, which I love this watch. It has ABC sensors, but you have to dive through a menu to access them. Okay, So you gotta go down here and say, here's the altimeter, right? And so that's a lot of button presses. This watch, you want to get the altimeter, it's one dedicated button. Boom, that's the altimeter. The barometer, one dedicated button. Right here. Boom, you're at the barometer. Compass, right here. Boom, you've accessed the compass, okay? And another really neat feature while we're here on the compass is that around the perimeter is a graphical representation of your compass, and that those three notches indicate north, okay? So, and it has a rotating bezel. Casio makes a lot of these ProTrek watches that have compasses. Very few of them have a rotating bezel. Really annoying. Why would you ever get a compass without a rotating bezel? A lot of the Casio ProTrek watches around the perimeter have the cities for the the time zone when you setting the time zone. But I mean, like, if you have a compass and you have a bezel, it should be a rotating bezel for the compass, and that's what this one has. Okay, so now it has the same modes that you're going to find on regular watches, of all Casio watches. Like, this is the regular time. So whenever you're in any other function, whenever you hit this mode button, it brings you back to time. Okay, and so while we're on the time screen, let me point out that there's a graph on the top. Okay, right now that's representing the barometer. And we've had a lot of weather recently, had a huge storm, so you can see that huge drop in the barometer, that it accompanied, it came in with a giant thunderstorm, okay? If you press this top left button, you can change what information is displayed on that graph. And it's like a dot matrix display. So this is the one that I like to have on, which is the day of the week and the day of the month, right? You're just gonna have to know what month it is. Kind of difficult for a guy like me, but you could press it again and see that the date is June 3rd, right? But like me personally, I'm always looking at my watch to see what day of the week it is. I have one of those jobs where I don't even know whether it's AM or PM or what day of the week it is. And so as much as I'm looking at what time it is, I'm looking at what day of the week it is. So it really bothers me when watches do not have the day of the week. So the other functions you have, like when you're going through the mode, this is an almanac, what they now call almanac, but you see right there the sunrise sunset for today. Great feature, I love this. The GBDH 2000 has this. If we back out of the altimeter, we can go to the almanac, okay? So, well, these are different. Interesting. But anyways, this watch has a GPS, so this would be more accurate because it would know the latitude and longitude, so it can correctly display the sunrise and sunset. And I think that I'd have to go through the settings to let it know where I am on Earth in order for this to be accurate. And then the next mode would be you can record your altitude at certain times. So on March 8th at 8:30 p.m. I was 3,055 feet above sea level, which I think I was just here in the backyard at that point. Stopwatch, like all Casio watches, and it can display tenths of a second, no 1/100ths of a second, which is fine by me. I mean, it's kind of a joke. You could think that you would be able to operate with your thumb the stopwatch fast enough to get 1/100ths of a second, but you have tenths of a second, seconds, minutes, and it can go up to, I don't know how far it can go up, but you can record hours too. And while this is going on, you still have the local time at the bottom, which this is all a great feature. This is all well designed. Timer, similar thing to the stopwatch, which is a countdown timer. Time's displayed on the bottom, and you can go in excess of an hour. All right, these brand new watches that Casio are making don't go in excess of an hour on the timer. Absolutely infuriating. this timer, you know, goes up to 60 minutes. And this watch, which is discontinued and old, and it's supposedly not as advanced as this one, you can time in excess of an hour. Alarms, world time, so you can change what time zone's being displayed, which you can just easily cycle through without even having to hold down the set button, forward and backward. Okay, the brand new DW H5600 doesn't have forward or backward buttons, but somehow this ProTrek PRW 3500 does. And this is when you last received the multiband 6. Why is Casio taking multiband 6 off their watches? That's a crime. That is a crime. This is brand new, GBDH 2000, no multiband 6. This is an old GWX 56BB, multiband 6. This has multiband 6, PRW 3500, says right there, multiband 6. Very convenient, and I understand that some people in some countries don't have it, such as Brazil or India, where a lot of people live, but it's nothing for them to put the multiband 6 in the watch. Okay, now the GBDH 2000 you can time sync to GPS, but the huge problem is that it will change your time zone. It will change it to what time zone you're at, which is infuriating. All right, and now we're back to time. Okay, so that's just a really quick rundown of what's on the watch, and you can see it offers a lot. And this module is great. It's highly legible, despite the fact it's an old-fashioned LCD display, albeit a big one. And you know, obviously this new MIP display has a lot more legibility, but it was very infuriating the past few years before the MIP display came out, wondering why Casio makes these great displays for other types of watches besides G-Shocks. G-Shock somehow that you could barely read the screen, you know. And I made a lot of rant videos to that effect, and thankfully they're coming out with the MIP display. So this watch I bought on eBay for $112, and it was in really good shape. The guy who sold it to me. Now we're going to get into some of the negatives about this watch right now, and the first one is that it's really heavy. This part right here is heavy because the bezel is metal, the back is metal, okay? And so while you're hiking, it moves on your wrist, it flops. You know, as you're moving your arms when you're hiking, you feel it. That's kind of annoying, all right? Like this watch, even though it's like appears to be much bigger, is actually much lighter than this one, where it feels that way. This one flops a lot. Okay, so what happened is that Casio took this type of module and made some more watches in this style with the same type of buttons, but it's not as durable. It doesn't have the same water resistance level. It has the same standard 10 bars on water resistance. I believe that one's the PRW 35, which they don't release in America, but you can buy on eBay. So the thing is, like I said, you know, this is like buying like buying a G-Shock. This one was probably cannibalizing their sales off of the Mudmaster and the Rangeman. So in the next iteration of this watch, they bumped down the durability. But I think that this watch doesn't have the mud resist like the Mudmaster and Rangeman, but it seems to me to be very durable because it has screwed in the band as screws rather than pins, which I think is huge, right? Screws are so much better than pins. I'm always losing watches from the pins popping, right? Now another con, speaking of the band, is that the band is just too small, okay? I have an 8.5 inch wrist, and so I have it on the very last notch when I'm wearing it, and then at that point you can't get the keeper over this bump that holds the keeper down. So I like that it has this bump. It's like a keeper, but it's bagging out the keeper. And yeah, I kind of want to sell this one on eBay sell it back on eBay. I like the module, but the band is too small. And then the other negative thing is that it has wings. And, Casio, Asian company, they don't really have arm hair like us Neanderthal mixed people do. So these wings are grabbing arm hair. And when you're wearing this watch while hiking, it can be really annoying. I guess you'd get used to it after all your arm hair is ripped out by this spot. But if you're interested in this watch, I believe that this is 24 M&Ms across, maybe even longer if you can get those spacers out that go to the keeper. So in theory, it could be possible to get a NATO strap on there, some type of strap. But I like resin straps because I sweat a lot and I get really dirty, okay? Like, this is the best band. This is a huge band. It fits really well and it's really comfortable. I've decided that if Casio were to take this type of module with this size display and put it into this body, it would be an amazing watch. It would be the best watch ever, and that's my suggestion to them. Okay, and they could take off the heart rate monitor, and with the thickness that's here, just add mud resistance. All right, a mud resistant ABC watch with this type of band, it would be one that I would buy, like one for each wrist, because I would love it so much. All right, but anyways, these digital Protreks are great. I love them, and I recommend them to anybody who's going hiking. They don't look as cool and sophisticated as the analog Protreks, but seeing these graphs, like what you have right here, is great. I mean, I go hiking, like I went to Palo Durbo Canyon, and I had it open to this screen to see the altitude, because when you're going down into the canyon, you can see on the graph the altitude drop. And then when you're hiking through the canyon, obviously it's flat. But when you're coming back out, like we hiked up to the very top of Lighthouse Rock, like you can see your climb, all right? I didn't have this watch when I went up Guadalupe Mountain, but I was dying going up Guadalupe Mountain. That's a brutal hike, but it would be cool to see the graph of that. And by the way, yes, this one does have a graph for the altimeter. And it has a graph over a longer time frame, but you'd have to keep it on this screen, and so there are some advantages to having this one when hiking. But this one has tough solar too, okay? So this can run completely off of solar. And that's part of the problem with these two new MIP watches, the GDB H2000, which is this one, and the DWH 5600, which my oldest son's wearing right now to the SATs. But anyways, it has solar, yes, but it just treads water. It can't run the whole watch off of solar. You got to plug it in. So this one, you don't ever have to plug in. Anyways, I really like this watch. The neighbor has a lawnmower going, so I'm just gonna end this review right here. This, I can't really give it a 5 stars because of the negative things I said, but the module is a 5-star module. The body, it just barely fits. I gotta give it credit for that. This one fits really well. This one fits fantastic. So that's why I'm saying they should combine these watches, because this module is 5 stars, this body's 3. This body's 5 stars and this module is 3. And they accomplish very similar things. There's a sensor there for the ABC. There's a sensor there for the ABC. So if we were to do some swap-a-rooney, that would be amazing. So I hope that happens. And I will be selling this watch. Before I put on eBay, I'll see if my brother wants to buy it, but I bought it for $112. So it's a good value, all right? Anyways, oh, one more thing. The updated one you can buy on eBay too, but it's over $200. And I don't think that at that point it's a good value. My name is Jim Kincaid. Thanks for watching.